With the 2023 NFL Draft coming up, I am going through the best of every positional group in this class. This is the 9th adaptation of the series, this time going through the top 10 cornerbacks. And quite possibly the best positional group in this draft, these are the 10 best cornerbacks in the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm Chase Keller, and I hope you enjoy. A few guys barely missed the cut for this top 10 list, and I wanted to give them a shout out very quick. From 11 to 14, I have Kansas State cornerback Julius Brents, South Carolina cornerback Cam Smith, TCU cornerback Travius Hodges Tomlinson, and Oregon State cornerback Alex Austin. Kicking off this list at number 10, I have Utah cornerback Clark Phillips III. After having one of the most productive seasons of any corner in 2022, I have a justifiable comparison to give Phillips a top 10 spot. As a cornerback, Phillips is a patient corner with elite instincts and anticipation when playing in zone. He has some of the best route squeeze in this class and is a very smart decision maker when reading the quarterback's eyes. He attacks the throw with aggression, and even if he turns out to be late to the ball, he never overreaches or plays too aggressively, constantly making the best play on the receiver. His frame is a massive concern at the next level as he stands at a small 5'9", 189 pounds. His frame takes away a lot of opportunities to consistently stay on the field, especially in the red zone. While he plays heart over height, he is under average in contested catch situations and will be a liability in the red zone. He does still have fantastic play strength for his frame, and while he isn't great in man coverage, he can give a high effort punch in press coverage to knock receivers off their route. As for all-around man coverage, he is underwhelming in off-man, constantly needing contact when lined up to one man. He is solid in press but could improve at mirroring his assignment's routes altogether. The zone coverage successes continue when noting that Phillips has great reads all around and has expanded knowledge of every offense he plays. On the flip side, he may be scheme specific despite all the positives, including his extreme success in zone coverage, all because of his lack of size and consistency upside. So, tell me why Clark Phillips reminds me of Denzel Ward so much. Of course his size is a concern, but he has a similar skill set while being known as undersized as an outside corner. My grade for Phillips is a B-, translating to a late second to early third round grade. Next up at number 9 is Syracuse corner Garrett Williams. I think as a cornerback, Williams may not be in the top 10, but as a defensive prospect, he has great upside to work as a versatile defender. Williams appealed to me most through his discipline and consistency throughout his progressions and technique. He has the mindset to always make the play himself and shows that through his aggression. He is aware of what is wrong as he had 0 penalties in his last 2 seasons at Syracuse. He is overall just an extremely disciplined cornerback in everything he does. His tackling showed out on film too, as he has a fantastic wrap-up technique that stays consistent after contact. If the original attempt fails, he has great recovery technique and never gives up on the play until the player is down. He absorbs contact very well and has great play strength that NFL teams want. His aggression is inconsistent at times, as he is often too content when going in for the tackle. This inconsistency makes him prone to missed tackles against elusive runners, as he may be caught off guard when trying to make the tackle. He has the footwork to recover though, as he has quick feet that immediately showed out on film. And I mean immediately, like first play. With a wide tackle range for a corner, he is always ready to jump out and make a tackle that way if needed. Staying on the topic of film, I saw minimal man and press coverage on tape, which after research it turns out he rarely played in Syracuse's stacked defense. To be fair, he saw a lot of tackling opportunities because of the scheme, but if he wants to stick as an outside corner in the NFL, he may be drafted later on in the draft. A side note as well, Williams tore his ACL in 2022 and saw minimal time that year, and while it seems as if it will heal by the time the season comes around, it is still a big concern. As a prospect, Williams is a good defender with high cornerback upside. I think he may go under the radar in this draft, and if he does, he could be a big steal. I'm giving Williams a B grade, translating to a mid-second round talent. My 8th spot goes to Miami cornerback Tyreke Stevenson. After a disappointing 5-7 season in 2022, Miami still has a very solid prospect still going into the NFL in Stevenson right here. Stevenson has a fantastic combination of size and athleticism. Standing at 6 foot 198 pounds, he has great top speed and explosiveness to make amazing plays everywhere on the field, especially after the ball is caught. He also saw some snaps on special teams in Miami where he made a solid impact using these sought-out traits. His play strength is also seen throughout his film, primarily through press coverage, which is what he does best at cornerback. He is great at knocking receivers off of their routes and rerouting them to his decision, making him a very solid man corner. As for zone, he is still fairly solid, but he could use better consistency in anticipation and tackling after the catch. On the downside, he will be scheme specific if he wants to develop into his best self. He is best in press, but he doesn't have a lot of upside in off-man or zone. To be utilized as efficiently as possible, he will need to be stuck to a press-man heavy scheme. He is also not the greatest in run support. He is not the best open field tackler, and if he is asked to contain the run, he may miss tackles, and another option at outside corner would be better. Finally, on off-man routes, his hips are also a little tight to utilize the anticipation to break up the pass. As a prospect, Stevenson is not the most technically sound cornerback in this draft class, but he is still a very nice cornerback whose press coverage abilities are elite. I'm giving Stevenson a B grade, translating to a mid-second round talent. Coming in at number 7 is DJ Turner from Michigan. One aspect of his game takes over as the best in this defensive back class, and with other solid corner strengths, he makes this list. That standout aspect is his freak athleticism. With elite top gear speed, great explosiveness, extremely quick feet, and very solid vertical and lateral talent, Turner comes out as the most athletic cornerback and defensive back in this class, including having potentially the best athleticism of any position in this class. His speed helps him stay stride for stride with his assignment in man and brings solid route squeezing abilities in zone. His athleticism brings good pass rush upside as well, as he already saw a bit of blitzing snaps at Michigan. He does need to develop better instincts in the pass rush, but with the experience he had blitzing at Michigan, he has the bare bones with great upside. Along with his athleticism, he is a smart defender who comes into a route with great timing, and he covers with good instincts anywhere on the field in both man and zone. With his quickness, he is also great at baiting quarterbacks to throw towards him before jumping the route and making a play using his solid ball skills. On the downside, Turner's play strength isn't great, especially with having a lean frame at 5'11", 178 pounds. He isn't great in press, and he commonly allows receivers to get open on short routes. For this reason, he will likely be a red zone liability in the NFL. He doesn't have the play strength or length to consistently win jump ball passes in the end zone, and with quarterbacks getting more accurate in the jump to the NFL, he may struggle altogether in the red zone. Zone consistency is also an issue for Turner. He is very experienced in zone because of Michigan's defensive scheme, and he has fantastic route squeezing ability. But when it comes to transitioning from receiver to receiver, he is often very late or uncommunicative. Overall, Turner is an enticing prospect on film, and he has the pure athleticism to work as a flexible cornerback in the NFL. My grade for Turner is a B, translating to a mid-second round grade. At number 6, I have an upside-based selection with Keely Ringo out of Georgia. A lot of people believe that his stock is falling after the playoffs, and while I agree, I still think he is a solid selection for any team. Ringo's strengths center around his frame at 6'2", 207 pounds. He has the length to be disruptive as a vertical corner and the speed to be disruptive in the deep game. He has fantastic play strength on the outside, knocking receivers off their routes in press and making great physical plays in off-man. His athleticism is also elite for his size. Here are a couple of things for you. A 100 meter clocked in at 10.43, which is almost as fast as DK Metcalf. A 21.18 200 meter, and a bunch of high school records. He is a ridiculous athlete while maintaining his 207-pound frame, and it shows on the field. He also has great explosion off the line and has decent quickness to maintain a receiver and off man. In general, though, Ringo needs contact as he has an issue with separation on quicker receivers. He has tight hips that show him both man and zone, and he is okay with anticipation and instincts to squeeze the route. He loses ground on quick plays and at his lowest will not work well as a short down corner. His discipline also needs work, as according to PFF, he had 9 penalties called on him in 2022. While overall production was disappointing for Ringo, as he only saw 4 interceptions and 15 pass breakups in 2 years as Georgia's cornerback 1, his playoff appearances were even more disappointing, constantly losing matchups to some of college football's best, like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Quentin Johnston. In these 4 games, he won 2 championships, but also only had 2 pass breakups. The 1 interception he had was the pick 6 to clinch the 2021 national championship. Ringo definitely lost ground as the potential cornerback 1 in this draft, but he is still well worth being selected early on in the draft. My grade for him is a B+, translating to an early second round talent. Getting into the front part of the list, I have Maryland corner Deonte Banks at number 5. These next 5 corners have a big shot to become the best corner in this class 5 years from now, and Banks starts this list as a versatile option. The versatility of Banks is primarily shown through his coverage versatility. On tape, he played in all types of coverage in different alignments and showed efficiency at every one of them. Whether it was press, off-man, zone, deep zone, or even in the box, Banks was great in all-around coverage at Maryland. In press, his play strength is present with the ability to knock receivers off their routes with ease. He is also a great contested catch defensive back, often winning jump ball plays and one-on-one vertical routes. He has a good frame and length at 6 foot, 197 pounds, and 31 3/8 inches arm length, and with a vertical jump of 42 inches, making him the best vertical cornerback in this class. On short routes, though, he loses a lot of ground due to a lackluster lateral skill set. He has the footwork, he just lacks the explosion out of route breaks to keep up. As I mentioned with Ringo, this takes away the idea of playing Banks on short down plays. At least it gets traded with an elite red zone skill set. Banks also has deep threat concerns despite his fantastic top speed, which clocked in as a 4.3540 at the combine. The issue is his general deep speed. He has great acceleration, which is great, don't get me wrong, but he loses steps in the deep game to faster receivers. He is also inconsistent in man coverage as a whole, biting on double moves on one play and then locking it down the next. His technique and instincts will need to develop more before becoming a big impact as a starter. Banks has an elite vertical skill set with great coverage versatility and athleticism. He has the material, he just needs to develop into a smarter and more consistent cornerback to be elite. Banks gets an A- grade for me, translating to a mid to late first round pick. Coming in at number 4, I have Penn State cornerback Joey Porter Jr. Porter is a very well-developed cornerback with some instincts issues holding him back, but he is still a fantastic cornerback prospect. Porter's main strength is his ball skills, which I believe are the best in this class. Once the ball is thrown his way, he uses his length and pure instincts to deflect the ball and deny the receiver at catch point. He had 11 pass breakups in 2022, and while 1 interception in 4 years is a concern, it's primarily due to him not being tested at all levels of the game. His play strength is also very solid, and he is fantastic at knocking receivers off their routes and press. The hand usage minus the instincts is amazing out of Porter. He is able to get his hands into the way at all times, and sometimes it involves legal swiping to get in there. Even if his hands can't get in there, he has great recovery instincts to make the best play. The issue with the hand placement is how prone Porter is to holding penalties. I don't want to ride the mainstream opinion, but the NFL is a little bit sensitive with holding, and with his hand placement, he may be tagged a bit too much. He also lacks a twitch to be too effective in double move situations. He is solid working through them already, but he needs to be better at keeping his effectiveness rolling in the NFL. Another film takeaway I noticed was how he transitions and passes on receivers way too early in zone. I saw at least 3 allowed catches where he transitioned way too early and relied on his teammates to make the play instead. That will not fly for coaches in the NFL. Overall, Porter Jr. is a developed cornerback with minor concerns that need to be fixed to stay effective. In the right developmental system, though, he will be just fine. My grade for Porter Jr. is an A-, translating to a mid to late first round talent. Entering the top 3, I have Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State at number 3. I'm surprised Forbes isn't higher on most draft boards, as he has my second favorite upside in this entire class. Forbes is a great all-around corner who holds a great route mirroring skill set. In both man and zone, he does a great job at going stride for stride with the receiver, and while his ball skills could use improvements, he is fantastic at keeping them out of the frame. In man, he is nice with all 3 levels of routes, and in zone, he stands his ground in his area. Perhaps my favorite thing about Forbes is his anticipation. His route squeezing ability is very good, and he is always expecting a throw. In terms of post pass, he has nice tackling skills to maintain the area and make sure receivers don't get any extra yardage. What makes Forbes an iffy prospect is his discipline. He is often too aggressive on his timing and bites easily. He has under average recovery instincts and has a tendency to hold when beat. He just overall has not so great discipline. His lean frame is also a little concerning, and his play strength replicates that. He is solid without contact and press, but with contact, he has iffy contact balance and doesn't impact the route too much with his punch. Primarily due to his technique, it's almost a non-factor. From off-man and zone coverage, he just jumps too easily and can't use his strength to recover. He has great athleticism, but it's not helpful in his recovery abilities. All of Forbes' concerns are fixable in the NFL as long as he is put in the right system. He has my second favorite upside, as I mentioned earlier, behind number 1 on this list. I'm giving Forbes an A grade, translating to an early to mid first round talent. The runner-up on this list is Illinois cornerback Devin Witherspoon. I made a full report on him a couple of months ago, and it should be linked in a card on your screen now if you want to check it out. I will keep this short for that reason. My favorite thing about Witherspoon is his ball skills. He is great at interrupting the play and not only deflecting the pass at catch point, but keeping it in the air for a different defender to come and swoop it in. He has fantastic anticipation to get in between the ball and the receiver to make his ball skills work with the best route squeeze in this entire class. He is also a great tackler in open field and in the backfield. We all know that one play where he rocked Indiana's Sean Silvers to another dimension. He has tackling abilities like that too, and he has fantastic wrap-up technique to get them down. Witherspoon does have a lean frame, and he is often too aggressive going for the ball. He bit a lot of double moves, and with more elusive route runners in the NFL, that won't get any better. He has also only been playing football since his junior year of high school. That's a big nod to his development, but understandable when taking his instincts into account. As I said, I wanted to keep this short, and Witherspoon has been impressing every year that he has played football. My final grade for Witherspoon is an A grade, translating to an early to mid first round talent. At the top of this list, I have Oregon cornerback Christian Gonzalez. He has the best upside in this cornerback class in my opinion, and he already has a fantastic skill set that will make him an immediate impact. To start, Gonzalez has an elite combination of size and athleticism. He stands at 6'1", 197 pounds, has great top gear speed, fascinating vertical ability, solid lateral ability, good acceleration, and great explosion. It's a combination of it all. Every athletic trait he holds shows in his game, and it makes him such a versatile and all-around threat. His press coverage is the best part of his game, and he just absolutely puts himself on lockdown when lined up that close. Whether the coverage involves knocking a receiver off their route or letting them go deep and keeping with them stride for stride, Gonzalez stays tight to the receiver, and it's amazing to watch. His overall ability to mirror routes from receivers is great too. No matter where on the field, he keeps up with the receiver and gives himself the title of a true lockdown cornerback. It's always stride for stride with him. He does have a couple minor concerns that are developmental at the next level. It starts with his anticipation and his instincts. This comes primarily in zone, where he anticipates pretty slowly and misses his opportunity to break the pass up. Sometimes following this missed opportunity is a missed tackle, in which all around the field he has tackling inconsistencies, almost like he doesn't have a technique. On some plays he is wreaking havoc and making crucial goal line stops, yet on other plays he is allowing receivers to slip through his arms pretty easily. As an overall prospect, Gonzalez is my favorite cornerback in this class. He may not be the best developed corner right now, but with the ability to become a lockdown corner and man immediately with more traits developing, he is my number one cornerback in this draft class. My grade for him is an A, translating to an early to mid first round talent. Thank you guys so much for watching this top 10 cornerbacks list. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and thank you guys so much for choosing this channel as your source of sports coverage. See you guys in the next one.